So today we're joined with Stewart Smith. So how did you feel the performance went today?
Yeah, wasn't too bad. I think it's very difficult to get audiences for organ music really these days. It's sort of almost a dying art in many ways. So there's a good enough attendance here today, which always helps for the sort of atmosphere of the whole thing. Been quite a while since I've been playing, obviously with different lockdowns and all that sort of stuff in the past. There's a lot of concerts have been cancelled, so it's good to get back in and playing again.
So what is your favourite piece you performed today and why?
Probably the two Bach pieces. I've always enjoyed playing Bach from an early age, whether it be on piano or indeed obviously on the organ. So probably the very first piece I played, the toccata or the Prelude and Fugue in A minor. I learned that actually in my first year at university all those years ago. So it sort of reminds me of the days when I started studying organ.
Yeah. How did you first get into music?
My dad also plays the organ and obviously the piano. So I started off piano first of all when I was probably 9, so maybe slightly late compared to what people do these days. And then when I was probably 15, started playing the organ as well. That stage I would have been at Foyle College, and the head of music, Billy West, was also an organist. He was a past organist both in Christchurch and the cathedral, St Colum's Cathedral, so I went for lessons with him, and then continued that on with Dr Desmond Hunter at the University of Ulster, as it was in those days.
What has been your proudest moment so far?
Not sure really I've got actual proud moment. There's been sort of various different occasions that that were sort of bigger than others. When I first went to university, the first thing I got in my first organ lesson was not what I wanted to play, but it was Bernstein's Chichester Psalms, and I had to play and accompany the choir for that on my first year at university, which was quite nerve-wracking, very difficult piece. Played it far too many times now since with the university choir, but it was completely new to me at that time. Also enjoyed, played for St Colum's Cathedral Choir on their tour to Bristol Cathedral a number of years ago, which was good. We spent a week there and did all the services, so I was playing for that. And then probably more recently would have been taking part along with Daniel Moult, who is in charge of the organ at the Birmingham Conservatoire, and get involved with him recital in the Guildhall for the local organ festival.
So do you ever struggle with bad nerves before performances, and if so, how do you settle them?
No. It's sometimes I wish I was more nervous, because it sort of does help to focus what you're doing. I suppose the only time you would sort of have any nerves nowadays, is if you're playing somewhere completely different and you haven't really had enough time on the instrument and within the building itself. You're just trying to get used to the different action of the organ and the acoustics of the building. But generally I don't, probably because I've done it so many times now. I tend not to get nervous.
And the last question would be, have you any advice for people wanting to learn the organ?
I wish many more would do it. I think I haven't had a Sunday off in about 3-4 years, apart from when I've been sick. So it's very difficult these days to get anybody to play the organ. I think any pianist can very easily transfer those skills onto the organ. So I guess that's probably the first place that you have to start is getting a good piano technique, and then you can adapt that then to the organ.
That's great, thank you.